Colombia challenges Trump's deportation policies, a fight for sovereignty and human rights. What would you do if your country's citizens were treated as criminals simply for seeking better opportunities abroad? This question is at the heart of a recent clash between Colombian President Gustavo Petro and Donald Trump's new administration in the United States. When Trump ordered the use of military planes to deport Colombian migrants, bound hand and foot like prisoners, Petro's government made it clear: Colombia is not a submissive colony. This unprecedented diplomatic standoff has sparked global debate about immigration, sovereignty, and the dignity of human rights. In this video, we delve into the details of this intense confrontation, examining how Gustavo Petro's strong stance against Trump's policies has reignited discussions about Latin American sovereignty. Stay with us to discover the strategies Petro employed to defend his citizens and challenge the United States' long-standing dominance in the region. This is a story of resistance, diplomacy, and the fight for justice that you won't want to miss. As Donald Trump resumed the presidency, he wasted no time in ramping up his hardline immigration policies. Among these measures was the controversial decision to use military planes to deport undocumented migrants, including Colombians, under humiliating conditions. Petro's administration responded swiftly and decisively, denying entry to these planes and advocating for the dignity of its citizens. The Colombian president emphasized that irregular migrants are not criminals and must be treated with respect. Instead of military flights, he proposed commercial options, or even using the Colombian presidential plane. This bold response quickly drew the world's attention. Trump retaliated with threats of economic sanctions, including tariffs of up to 50% on Colombian goods, visa restrictions, and freezing Colombian assets. However, Petro stood firm, highlighting the over 15,000 U.S. citizens living irregularly in Colombia and signaling that his government was prepared to implement reciprocal measures. This defiance marked a turning point in U.S.-Colombia relations, challenging the traditional imbalance of power between the two nations. The media's portrayal of the conflict was deeply polarized. Progressive outlets praised Petro's sovereignty-first approach, celebrating his defense of human dignity and Latin American unity. In contrast, conservative media criticized his actions as reckless, accusing him of jeopardizing Colombia's economic and diplomatic ties with its largest trade partner. Despite these criticisms, Petro's stance resonated with many, particularly in Latin America, where the fight against foreign interference has long been a rallying cry. Historically, Latin America has been subject to foreign domination, from the Monroe Doctrine to CIA-backed coups during the Cold War. Petro's invocation of Simón Bolívar's legacy and his call for regional unity struck a chord with those who view sovereignty as essential to the continent's progress. His willingness to confront Trump head-on has positioned Colombia as a potential leader in the movement for a more independent and equitable Latin America. Trump's aggressive tactics, including economic threats, reflect a broader pattern in his approach to diplomacy. From imposing tariffs on China and the European Union to threatening allies in North America, his America First agenda often seeks to pressure other nations into submission. However, Colombia's refusal to yield demonstrates that such strategies are not infallible. Should smaller nations challenge powerful countries to uphold sovereignty and human dignity? How can international relations adapt to create fairer outcomes for all? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. This confrontation also highlights the hypocrisy in U.S. immigration policies. While the United States often criticizes other nations for human rights abuses, its treatment of undocumented migrants, particularly through mass deportations and the use of shackles, undermines its credibility. Petro's insistence on humane treatment for deported Colombians challenges this double standard, calling for a more just and respectful approach to immigration enforcement. Economically, the stakes of this conflict are significant. Trump's proposed tariffs could have severely impacted Colombia's exports, including flowers, coffee, and oil. However, Petro's countermeasures, including potential tariffs on U.S. goods and restrictions on U.S. citizens in Colombia, demonstrated that his government was prepared to fight back. This economic brinkmanship underscored the importance of trade relationships, while emphasizing the need for mutual respect in international dealings. In the end, the standoff forced the United States to reconsider its approach. Trump's administration temporarily suspended plans to use military flights for deportations and refrained from implementing the threatened tariffs. For many analysts, this outcome represents a diplomatic victory for Petro, even if it has not been universally recognized. The legacy of this confrontation goes beyond immediate policy changes. It serves as a reminder of the importance of sovereignty and the need for Latin America to assert its place on the global stage. Petro's actions have set a precedent, showing that even smaller nations can stand up to powerful adversaries when guided by principles of dignity and justice. As we reflect on this episode, it's clear that the fight for human rights and sovereignty is far from over. The question now is whether other Latin American leaders will follow Petro's example and unite in the pursuit of a more just and equitable world order. If this story has inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay updated on the latest developments in Latin American politics and beyond. Share your thoughts in the comments. How should smaller nations respond to the challenges posed by global superpowers? Let's keep the conversation going. See you in the next video.